everybody in. Welcome to the 2026 Youth Justice Leadership Institute info session. Let's go ahead and get started, y'all. My name is Amore Alvarenga. I am the Director of Transformative Leadership at the National Youth Justice Network. One of my primary responsibilities is holding down the Youth Justice Leadership Institute, which we're all here to learn about today. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm super honored to take the helm of this institute as a 2019 alum. Um, and I'm excited to share about it with all of you. Thank you for being here. Go ahead and get started sharing my screen. Beautiful, beautiful. And for today, what we're going to be doing and moving through is we'll start with a welcome and grounding. We'll talk about what even is YJLI, share about how to apply. We'll have some alumni reflections on their experiences in the Institute and have some time at the end for some questions. So I would love for everyone to drop your name, pronouns, and where you're calling in from in the chat. Also, just the name of someone who inspires you. Feel free to do that. Just to get to know each other a little bit. That's something, a practice we hold in YJLI is really about relationship and connection. So creating the space for folks to say hi, get to know each other. Given that we hope don't have so too much time today, just keeping that in the chat for now. But um, I appreciate all of you who are here. Look forward to hopefully getting to know you. And I'll move us into a little land acknowledgement and grounding. Um, so as I am noticing in the chat, oh yay, people are chatting in, chatting in. Hello. Hi, Dorian. Hi. Darian. My fault, my fault. Courtney. Selena. Ooh, love that your best friend inspires you. Inspired by the President Obama, Jeremy Page. Okay, yes. Your mom. Yeah, my mom inspires me a lot too. Ronette. We are each other's harvest. We are each other's dignity and bond. Gwendolyn Brooks. Thank you for continuously putting your names, pronouns in the chat where you're calling in from. La Russell, I just saw him at Crybaby. Okay, sorry. He was very inspiring. He brought the youth out. It was beautiful. Yes, to the youth. So with all of this energy of inspiration, I wanted to speak over land acknowledgement into the space. Feel free to listen, allow the words to ground and wash over you. And I'll lead us into a grounding a little bit after that, because I think some of the things I'll share might kick stuff up for us. So we would like to take a moment to call in and honor the Indigenous people of the Americas as ancestral caretakers of the land we are on. They were unjustly seated from their homes, and I myself am calling from the Ohlone lands colonially known as Oakland, California. One action I take is to pay the Saratoga land trust tax here to honor my presence as a settler on these lands, and I encourage all of you to notice what actions you could take to exist in right relationships, even just noticing what Indigenous lands you're on. The momentum of colonization continues today, from the southern storms that have displaced so many Black, Brown, and Indigenous families to the continued modern genocide of Palestinians. The legacy of chattel slavery exists from the execution of so many systems that have allowed Black and Brown lives to die, the kidnapping of Black and Brown youth and families to this day. We are interconnected with the history of colonization and its ongoing impacts from individuals to communities. And we honor the legacies of grief and resistance of Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples who, in the face of all of these genocides and structures of oppression, continue to be cultural producers, continue to hold wisdom, continue to hold medicine. We imperfectly honor this legacy and history through our commitment to right relationship with the land and its people. And we hope that YJLI can be one place of healing that carries the lessons learned here to all of our communities. I'm going to ring a bell and I'm going to ring it 3 times. I encourage you to take a breath with each tone, honoring that you are here, you are present. Thank you for listening to those words, for breathing, for being here now. So what is YJLI? YJLI is one place that we hope can honor and respond to the legacy of colonization, right? This picture in the middle right here is of Miss Diana Only Campbell. She is the founder of YJLI. And she says that if we honestly believe that Black, Indigenous advocates of color are the ones that are best suited to lead, then we have to meet their needs. So she developed YJLI as a place of connection, as a place of relationship building, as a place, a hub, a container to co-create and learn healing justice practices, to tend to our own bodies, our needs, our longings, and to connect with other advocates who are out here up against systems of oppression and creating communities of care, creating alternative responses to harm. I so YJ, oop, and I oop, hold up. Technology, thank you. Um, hold on. I think that it's not showing up for y'all. Lovely. We love it when it does this. Give me 1 second, y'all. My bad. So YJLI is a fellowship for advocates who hold racially marginalized identities and are involved in youth justice to deepen their leadership skills through healing justice practices. And healing justice is really the ways in which we tend to our own internalized trauma and harm. Um, and understanding that the ways that we advocate can like incorporate some of those systems of oppression unknowingly and unwittingly. We're swimming in a culture of oppression. So what does it look like to respond to that oppression by noticing how we're recreating that, sometimes in our advocacy work, and deepening in practices and skills to deepen our capacity to really engage in liberation work. And how we do this is through monthly distance learning activities, where we bring on and pull on our alumni base to come and lead different workshops to teach healing justice practices and skills and to demonstrate what that looks like as advocates. Okay, like how am I as an advocate tending to my own needs, wants, desires, and also holding down like big work. We also have cohort calls. So this is where folks deepen their relationships with one another, kind of we practice more deeply different somatic skills, for example, like EFT tapping. We do some meditation work, some breath work, different ways that we can tend to our own bodies so that we can be here now. And then from that place, from that healing, more healed place, create responses to harm, create strategies that feel aligned with liberation. There are 2 retreats. In one of them is at the beginning and one of them is at the end. And oh, there's also the mentoring component. So we'll have a mentoring component. You'll be meeting with me. I'll serve as like a healing justice coach. We'll talk about different ways that you would like to learn more and deepen your capacity, things that are going on in your life. And we'll also set up a plan for what it looks like to kind of move through those skills, move through goals and intentions for your time in the container. And you will also be receiving some support with your advocacy project. I'll go a little bit more into that, but essentially, your advocacy project is something you're passionate about. It could be something you're already working on, something you've been dreaming up on, and will connect you to different organizations, resources, people to kind of move that along. Um, Lastly, at the completion of the fellowship, you'll be invited into the alumni family. We're like over 100 alumni doing all different kinds of work throughout the US, and really just like opportunities to get together every year. There's like opportunities to share and thought partner on different things. The YJLI is a really beautiful community that I myself have benefited from. I wouldn't be in this position without my experience in YJLI. So, what do you need to do to get in? And I'm sorry if you can hear the mowing outside. I don't know if you can, but I certainly can. It's a little distracting to me, but I see a head nod. Cool. I'm like, no, please. Cool. So some of the requirements this year we kind of shortened the application process just to make it a little bit more accessible, right? Um, but within the institute, some of the requirements are to complete all the tasks and assignments. Some of that is moving through like the emergent strategies framework, learning more about what that looks like in your own advocacy work, and then attending both retreats. Some of the first one will definitely be in person. The second one may be virtual, but we definitely want to hold those dates, which are I'll share a little bit in a little bit. We also ask that folks participate in at least 80% of the activities. So because we're meeting twice a month, really inviting folks to like come through, be present, really benefit from what we're learning, really, and also benefit each other, because that's so much of this container. We ask you to carry out your advocacy projects. So if it's something you name, something you're like ideating, something you're already working on, receiving updates is that, and then participating in evaluation activities. So providing feedback before and after retreats, before and after sessions. We really benefit from that so that it can really inform and shape your experience. And then this is a picture of different alums. They're saying, if we can do it, you can do it. So how do you apply to YJLI? You would go to nyjn.org// Youth Justice Leadership Institute and click apply here. You see this little circle around the apply here button. And the application steps are full, like you fill out the application form, you complete one nominator form, which is a change from last year where we had two nominator forms, and you fill out an employer affirmation form. Um, this page also contains really important information for key dates, for quick links, just anything, any like frequently asked questions you might be holding around the Institute. We do have a page that kind of walks that through. So for example, who is eligible to participate is one question. So that's going to be by folks who hold racially marginalized identities, also known as like Black, Indigenous, people of color, advocates who are really dedicated to youth justice and are interested in learning healing justice. So you don't necessarily have to work within the youth justice field. If your work is related to youth at all, you're welcome to apply. This sort of creates like a diversity amongst our movement work, right? Because if we're bringing in folks who are creatives, folks who are restorative justice facilitators, folks who are organizers, we want to learn and build together and learn from each other. Um, and then you're just going to click down. I just wanted to flag that you'll click down on each question to receive the answer. So what's required of a successful applicant, for example, just being excited to learn about healing justice and other advocacy related paradigms, to be an advocate, family member, or an adult who holds a racially marginalized identity, who knows or is connected to youth justice in some way. You also we ask folks to like reside within the 50 states. Um, and yeah, those are all things that, oh, right, and a commitment to just being willing to come through to our different offerings. So YJLI does cover travel expenses for the participants, and we work with you all to make sure that you can be present. There is a fee for participation. It's like a tuition fee, but we are always willing and flexible for what that fee looks like. We just have a conversation with me. So a completed application is going to be the 2026 application form, the YJLI nomination form, and the employer affirmation form. And the application is due February 23rd at the end of the day. So there's plenty of time to complete it. And if you have any questions at all about the application, you can definitely reach out to me. So what is an advocacy project? We got a lot of questions about what even is an advocacy project. I don't have an advocacy project. Should I even apply? I don't know. So I just wanted to spend some time walking us through that together. So it's an application of skills gained to YJLI into a passion area that impacts youth in some way. This can take on so many different forms, and it aims to bring healing centered transformations into youth and their communities. Um, and this advocacy project will definitely be shaped by your experience in YJLI. The application that we are asking for includes titles and goals, a strategy and timeline, and how it might continue after YJLI. So there is an example of a really successful application that's a title, goals, intentions, a strategic timeline. It even includes some questions in there, but it's simple. We want to make this accessible. We want to make it that feels right and good and aligned with you. So if you're intimidated, I still encourage you to apply. Don't try to be perfect. That's not the goal. The goal is to be intentional, which is quite different. Ooh, the pictures aren't showing up. Okay. But the next thing, don't just take my word for it. I am gonna invite in our alumni guests, Lupita Herrera and Terrence Turner from our 2025 YJLI class of 2025. I don't know. We don't really call them classes, but I'll invite them both to come and talk about their experience in YJLI, just so you all can get a little bit of a sample of what it's like. Hey Terrence, I see you're unmuted. I'm gonna go ahead and spotlight you. And then I did see Lupita was here, so I'm gonna spotlight her as well. Um, Oh, maybe see. Can I spotlight two people? Yeah, add spotlight. Perfect. And then I'll spotlight myself since I'm in conversation with y'all. Hi. Oh, it's so good to see both of you. I would love for both of you to introduce yourself, name, pronoun, where you're at in the world. And yeah, a little bit about maybe the work that you're currently doing. Terrence, would you like to go first?
No.
You don't need.
Okay. I don't have a choice. No. Hey, y'all. My name is Lupita. I use she, her pronouns. Um, I just recently moved to New York from Minnesota. Very much Minneapolis coded, and that's who I am, and that's what I honor, and that's especially right now in these days. I'm talking about Minneapolis 24/7. Um, I am currently working in family law as a it's really hard to explain, but basically the way that New York is that their child welfare system is $1 billion organization and the family policing system is real. So there's a lot of amazing people and organizations that are fighting back against the family policing system by providing legal services and just like so many supportive services to families who are being attacked by the child welfare system. So the law firm that I'm at, when families have a case filed against them, they get an attorney and a social worker. So I'm on the social work part of the team. I go to court with these clients, but I'm also assisting them with other things that they need so that their family can stay together and kids aren't ending up in the foster care system. I actually got this job and found this job out through a member who I met through this program, which is really awesome. So when I met, his name is Frank. When I met him through YJLI, I had mentioned that I wanted to like move out of Minnesota and explore and see what was out there. And he also was like, I want to get out of Virginia and see what's out there. And we ended up both moving to New York. So we're both here. He's like 20 minutes away from me, and that's really nice. I see him very often, and we've become besties because of this program. But when I first joined the YJLA group, I was doing youth justice work. I was part of a national campaign called No Kids in Prison that works against youth incarceration. And somebody knows Frank, period. Um, that works against youth incarceration and abolishing all prisons. Again, I am from Minneapolis. So there was a huge abolition movement that started after the uprisings in 2020, after George Floyd's murder. And so I became a legal educator. I'm really passionate about language justice and ensuring that folks have access to legal knowledge. And so I started a pathway program for youth that are directly impacted by the system to learn curriculum about their legal rights, about the school to prison pipeline, about things that impact us every day. And they were working alongside attorneys to be able to give this information out to their community. And so that's what my advocacy project was around, was a cohort for a policy legislative session that we had to get rid of prone restraints. So prone restraints is actually how George Floyd died and or was murdered, and it's banned in prisons, but it's legal in schools, and it's craziness. And so we were fighting to also make it illegal in schools, and we failed. But I think that's the amazing part about the advocacy project that you do, is that it did not go the way that I had originally pitched it to the Youth Justice Network, but through the skills that I learned through this program, I was able to like go with the flow and adapt to the changes that were happening. But that's enough about me, and I'll pass it over to Terrence.
Hey, Lupita, how you doing? Hello, everybody. My name is Terrence Turner. They, them, no, he, him pronouns. And essentially, I have been doing youth justice work for a very long time. I was impacted by the system as a juvenile and spent a greater part of my juvenile life in prison before I was released. Since then, I've been doing tons of different advocacy work, working inside carceral facilities and working with at-risk youth in schools, K through 12, as well as upper ed, and have done most of the stuff in the Pacific Northwest where I'm from, which is Tacoma, Washington, Pierce County, Seattle, if people don't know what Tacoma is. And some work in Oregon and some stuff in New York, but essentially never really was able to connect nationally. And so YJLI was my first opportunity to connect with people from all over the country, and it was an absolutely phenomenal experience. And through YGLI, I was able to connect with people doing similar work, but because all the work is connected. But also just seeing their passion, seeing their drive, and being able to align with them, and even make connections across states, even outside of the YGLI scope. And so I think that was a really beautiful thing. I think the other thing that really stood out to me about YGLI was the somatic practices and it being healing centered. And I think that a lot, because I've been doing this work for so long, I can from testimony say that there's not a lot of healing centered anything. And this is this is profound. And I think that all of the work that we do should be healing centered engagement, both for young people that we are trying to inspire or impact with change, or for ourselves who are already impacted by change per se, or are impacted by systems per se. So I think those were really beautiful tributes to YJLI. And it was one of the allures that actually drew me to the program. And especially right when I got there, that made me be like, I know I'm here and I know I'm in the right place. And which is why when they asked us, do we want to participate in this, interview, we jump at the opportunity because it feels like family, or at least extended family. And that's a beautiful feeling. And to know that, we can know sometimes in real time what's going on coast to coast because of that, right?
Mm.
We can say, oh my God, this is what's happening right now in our city. We can't post this, we can't share this, but now I know this information because I trust this person, because we've been working with these people. I can vet this information and maybe pass this along to help other people. Currently, the work that I do is directly in my county with young juveniles, specifically Black males that are on probation, specifically for violent crimes in the city of Pierce County, in city of Tacoma, but in the greater Pierce County area, which is the county that I'm from. We've been doing this work. I've been contracted with that department for about the last 6 years. And kind of like Lupita was saying, she's the social work aspect. Well, I was the community partner aspect of that program. And so when youth were impacted by the court system and were then placed on probation while awaiting trial or sentencing, they would come back out to community and then been partnered with a Black male with lived experience, that is, successfully doing stuff in community or whatever, what have you. And I was one of those Black males that was selected for this program. And through that program, we do all kinds of work. That work can look like legislative work. That work can look like entrepreneurial work. It can look like creative expression, through all types of myriads of arts, and performance arts. So we're not really limited in the way that we're working with youth. We're just kind of meeting everybody where they're at, in that specific field, and then encouraging them to do so. And so this was a chance for me. YGLI was a chance for me to see what other people are doing in other communities and other cities, and understand, like, those are some great programs. How do we get those programs over here? Or how do we get these two entities to crosstalk? And it's just a really beautiful opportunity to learn more, about what's going on in and around, but also what's going on other places. And so I'll pass it back to Amore.
Thank you. It's so beautiful to hear both of you speak to your work, and I'm just always so in awe and honored to like learn about YJLI's journeys, where you're at now, and like just the privy to some of the like beautiful things that you're holding, right? I remember, yeah, I'm not gonna put you on blast, but Terrence is incredibly talented in very many ways, and I remember that. And Lupita, I remember you like sharing, like, I think I want to move. And like now you're in New York. It's incredible to see that growth. And so I'm just in a place of like memory, and I'm curious, what's a memory that you hold on to or that grounds you from your time at YJLI? Yeah, just in the same order. Lupita, do you care to share first?
Yeah, I think something that Taryn said that I 100% agree with is that we're more like an extended family. I'm not going to say we're like a family because we have our own shit going on. Everybody's like across the whole nation. Like we don't keep up as much as maybe I would have thought at the beginning, because at the beginning it's all exciting and everyone wants to be besties. But it really does feel like extended family, and just hanging out a few that 2 times in person, and having these monthly meetings and stuff. Like we got really close, and there was just a lot of stuff that was happening, whether it was in our personal lives or like nationally, that we all were feeling for. And so like having moments of just getting together and having space to debrief and talk about those things was very real. And so for me, one of the memories that I remember is when we got to our retreat, and I had only spent one other time in person with Frank and Thais, who were other 2 members in the group. But they just like we just instantly clicked. And I remember we just got food, we had tacos, and we just like sat on the hotel floor. And we just kind of like we just clicked back where we left off. And it was like talking about our personal relationships and talking about who we're dating, this and that. And it was like the time where I was like, I'm moving. Like, I think I'm moving. And it was that conversation that Frank says is what inspired him to move, because I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I just feel like I need something new. I need to grow from this. And if I want to go back to Minnesota, I can always do that because I'm so rooted there. Um, but I just want to see what other parts of the nation are doing. I want to see and learn and grow in my career, and also just explore. Like, Minneapolis is great, and it's super tiny, and you know everybody as soon as you leave the door. And so I was like, let me go somewhere where I'm kind of not known and I'm a nobody, and I can just like go with the flow. And so New York is a perfect place for that. So honestly, just just doing that, being up late, knowing that we have to be up early the next day, but like it's worth it. And that to me is just like what it's all about. The sessions were amazing, everything was amazing, but I really do think it's like those in between conversations that you're having with folks when you're walking to the corner store at night because you need a snack, or after the session people are going back to their rooms and we just stop and talk to somebody in the hallway or something. Like those are really the conversations that stick with me. And yeah, again, extended family, we all follow each other on Instagram. It's like how we keep up with each other from time to time. We send a meme in the group chat. But for the most part, I think this group is really understanding of the work that we do. I think when it comes to like my friends or family, you know how they be saying like you don't really know what your best friend does for work? Like my best friends don't really know what I do for work, but it was coming together with this group that like really understood like what really comes with work like this. You can't shut it off. And like self-care and all these little cute buzzwords are real, and we should be taking care of ourselves, and we should be going on walks, and we should be doing all these things. But the truth is, especially when you're working with young people, they're in crises, and you never know when you're going to get a call at 3 in the morning because a youth just got picked up, or someone's being detained by ICE. And so like it's work that never stops, and this was a group that just really understood that for me. And I think there's so many other spaces that reiterate self-care so much in ways that are actually really harmful, and in ways that kind of make you feel guilty for not taking care of yourself. But this was a space where it was like, no, like there are ways to do it as you're working, or there are ways to implement these ways of like healing and like taking care of yourselves while you're still in the work, and not like distancing or like having those two things separate, if that makes sense. I could keep going because I freaking love this group, but I'll just pass it to Terrence.
Oh man, I almost just cried like 4 times. Jesus. Wow. Is there a follow-up to that? I don't even know. What was the question? What was the question,
A
Amari?
memory that you're holding. I know that was so beautiful.
Oh my
Like a memory
God.
that yeah, that holds
Uh,
with you, or yeah, whatever feels right to share.
there were so many memories, but what I can tell you is those in-person both occasions were really special. They were super intentional. Like the way they were planned out, and the places and spaces that we were going to see and learn from or experience or reflect were just really powerful places to go and experiences to have. And I just really loved being a part of that. It was really, really powerful to know like we're going to this space because of XYZ, and we're supporting this business because of XYZ, not just like unintentional, haphazardous. We're just here because this is what's convenient. And and then there was always this needing to meet everyone where they're at. So there was a lot of accommodating. But the one thing that I knew is we all showed up authentically us, which a lot of people aren't allowed to do, or either don't do, whatever. But maybe this group attracts people that want to be authentic. I'm hoping that's what's happening. And in that space, we're showing up real, vulnerable, impacted by the work we do. And we're in a space where we're learning in real time either how to share tools that we didn't have or now have, or tools that we already had in our back pocket. And we were able to share those in real time and actually show up in real time. And healing is happening in real time. And I think that did, like Lupita said, it occurred well beyond the framework of this is the curriculum for the day. Because once that curriculum was done, then the day was free for you to do whatever you wanted to do, or the night or the evening or whatever. And a lot of times, people would click up, like Lupita said, and we did do a lot of completely all group activities as well that was unorchestrated, by a curriculum. But the beautiful part is for myself. I do spoken word. I'm a poet, and there were some opportunities in DC when we were out there to go to this place and do spoken word. And I was like, I'm gonna go, and people showed up, like we knew each other, we bonded, but to be in a space where I've never been, in a building that I've never been in, and then to see familiar faces that I've been with all week or maybe a few days, I don't remember how many days we were there when that happened, but it was just the most beautiful experience. And then a year later, uh, it all happened all over again, and it was just to know, that the support is real beyond the curriculum that's created or the agenda that we're on. And what I would say that I my hope is for anybody that's involved in this program is that one, you make sure that you are taking care of yourself so that you can enter this space most authentically. Please understand your own capacity to do what you're already doing and then adding this into your life. Also, please make sure that you are authentic in why you're showing up in this space. And then lastly, youth first. So that means that is the priority, that is who we're showing up for and why. But that also means listening to youth. So in the work that we already do outside of YGLI, making sure that we're listening to the youth and putting them first and empowering them by giving them positions of leadership and access to resources so that they can delegate what their need base is, and we become facilitators, unless as people with we're so interwoven that it becomes codependency. So, and to make sure that we're not leading with our egos, and so that we're checking those at the door. And by giving that role model and that example, it will not only help our constituents, but it'll help the people that we're trying to impact. So, I'm honored to have met YGLI and all the beautiful people inside of it, and I'm still connected to every single one of them. I miss them, and I look forward to any opportunity to stay connected to this place, this organization.
Mm, thank you. Thank you both so much. Yes, to youth first, youth led, youth held, and like connections. Miss Diana, who founded the program, actually got to hear Terrence in DC. We got to spend some time with Miss Diana. She got to hear Terrence's spoken word. But she always said that YJLI was giving ourselves the gift of each other. So advocates of color who deeply understand and are closest to the oppression, getting together and leading with that love and intention and care, and like in a way where we're giving ourselves the gifts of each other. And I feel like both of you really shared how showing up for one another, even outside of the space, outside of what was planned, and being so whole person centered is really the intention of YJLI. I know for myself, when I was a I'm like, oh, back in the day, but it was like years ago. Like, I was really lost. I was in a pretty difficult position. I didn't feel like I was being respected, heard, or held, and I applied to YJLI. And I got in, and it completely shifted how I could show up as an advocate. I recognized that heart centered work was the work that I needed to do, and it catapulted me into restorative justice full time facilitation. And that's like how I became the director of transformative leadership now. And so just really appreciative of my own cohort. Definitely the feeling of extended family where it's like, I know that I can call them. We may not check on each other every day, but I know that I can call them and be like, this emergency is happening. Where you like, can you support me? Who are you connected to? And I've seen that in our 2026 group chat, 2025 group chat. Um, I would just encourage everyone who is called to apply, both Lupita and Terrence. I'm Last question here is, why might you encourage someone to apply? Um, and yeah, any also an invitation to share anything else that you want to before we kick it off to the Q&A. I mean the questions, if anyone has questions. Right. Lupita.
Yeah, I would encourage people to apply because it's more, like we said, than just the agenda, just the curriculum, the advocacy project. Like you really are meeting people who you're going to be connected with probably for as long as you're doing this work and beyond that. Like we are literally still connected. Right now with, having folks still in Minneapolis who are needing help with the terror that's going on with ICE, like I'm posting like mutual aids for my past youth, and like people from this cohort are sharing it. People from this cohort are donating. And so like it's just little ways like that we're supporting each other. We text each other just randomly out the blue, whether it's for advice or again, like a meme, like it doesn't matter. And so like I think there's something super special about doing this work and being connected to people who are doing it nationally, because although there's so many similarities, every region is so different. And to just know that like, in Minneapolis I was dealing with this while Ms. Marquita in Kansas was dealing with something else, and like it's so much, and you can look to people to help you with, whether it's advancing a certain legislative priority, or whether it's starting up a campaign, or whatever it is. Like, people are coming from so many different things. I remember Demi is from Nebraska, and she was coming from Girl Scouts, and I remember her saying that, and I was like, okay, like, I don't know nothing besides the cookies. And then it was like, no, like, she was doing so much work, and she was dealing with having to do this work alongside white people, and like how hard and tough that can be. And like, she was meant to be there with us, and it was just like we were all meant to be there. And I really, really think and like really believe that um, you're gonna learn a lot about yourself. As I said, this was like literally what helped me push me to move out of Minnesota, because although I was in Minnesota and I had a director title and everything looked good on paper, I just like really wasn't learning anymore. And so I was like, I'm just gonna move and go somewhere where I'm not known, to continue to just challenge myself, because that's like the beautiful part about life, is like being challenged. And if I'm going to continue working with families, and if I'm going to continue working with youth, like, I don't want to be this person that has like this know-it-all mentality, because she feels like she already reached the peak by becoming a director of a program. And so I'm all the way down. I'm not going to supervise anybody anymore. I can just learn again, and I'm in a whole different realm again, family policing, that I have not enough background in that. But I'm trusting myself to be in a new city, and to just learn these skills, and to lean into a lot of the healing things that we talked about in this cohort. And that's literally, honestly, thanks to Amore, thanks to Terrence, thanks to everybody that was a part of that journey. Because I promise you, when I joined, I was feeling a little lost. And I think I remember sharing that with Amore one time when we did a practice in the woods, and we were all screaming in the woods. And I was just kind of like scared of the unknown, and like just leaning into that, and just like really like finding the beauty in that came after all of this and during it. So I encourage you, if you have some time, as Taryn said, because it is time commitment, I encourage folks to apply.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And from what I know about Lupita is you are a warrior. So like I'm because I met you, I know no matter where you go, you're affecting change, right? Because that's just in your spirit. It's just who you are, you know. So just so much gratitude to know them no matter where you're at, you're advocating for people constantly, 24/7. Like when I pull up on your IG, I'm like, yeah, you never stop. You know what I mean? You're not playing, you know, you really live this life. And that's just you embody it because we do embody this work. And that's why the healing portion is so important, right? And so I encourage you, if you're aware of that, or you're interested in that, and you do have that dedication. And I can say, this is what I know about doing this work for how long I've been doing it in my community, and I travel nationally. So I've been to a lot of different cities and a lot of different communities doing a lot of different work. I know that organizations are siloed and we all struggle with that. But the cool thing about YJLI is this can become the web, this can become the mycelium, the infrastructure that connects and shows our own communities. Well, okay, I couldn't connect with you right now on this issue, but I'm connected nationally to Michigan and to New York on the same issue. And so now we are modeling the same framework that we want to see reflected in our own community because we can do that through this connection. So I would also, encourage you to do that if you're connected to that work, or want to be connected to the work. Because, like we said, we had Demi who was a Girl Scout, and it was perfect. It could not have been more perfect, right? And it was just a great. I commend y'all on your selection because it was such a great balance of people from different backgrounds and different places, and like everybody was from a different state almost. It was really cool. Yeah, so if you're open to learning some things, like if you already know about somatic practices and stuff like that, great. If you already know about breath work, great. If you already know about the importance of storytelling, great. But you'll probably not get it in this same package with this unique set of individuals that you're going to meet and be interacting with. So just keep that in mind, because I'm well tenured and I learned all kinds of new stuff. All kinds, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, this is new. Oh, this is new. This is a new practice I got now that we can do. What was it? What was the last thing you gave us? Was it glimmers? Was that the word you guys were using? Yeah, remember that? I love that. So, just little pole shifts and mentalities and little tools to keep us balanced and centered. And sometimes culturally oral traditions are being passed on that help us heal. And so I think with that kind of intentionality, if you're coming into a space where you can grow and expand and help others heal.
Yes, yes. Glimmers. That was Thais's wisdom, I think. Glimmers. Like we were talking about triggers and then
It
nope.
was me. I'm sorry. I love Thais, but it was me.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, it was you. You were like, hold on now. Thank you. It was Lupita's wisdom. Thank you, thank you. Yes. I still think about that.
Me too.
Really collectively learning from each other, really carrying this like it, yeah. The expression that's coming to mind is we're like very true to the work. Yeah. Thank you both so much for being here. I am just gonna open it up to see if anyone has any questions um, about the process. Yes, Celine, if you would like to unmute yourself, you can go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you both for the words that y'all said. That was really beautiful, and it kind of lets us know how the company is when y'all are able to talk to one another and about one another like that. So that's big. Um, I I have only been able to like put my time into this a couple years back, and then I got sick and I kind of got taken away from it. But I kind of want to put my foot back in the door, and I actually got it off of Marquita's story. So you had mentioned Marquita in Kansas. She had put it up on her story, and I did it off of her story. I've worked with her and Desmond here, and he's in the call as well. And I kind of just wanted the opportunity to like put my foot back in the door, and I didn't really know where to start. And I guess my question is for people who don't have that much experience in it, is this like a good starting point for them to like this program, or is it more for people who already have like the experience and time put into it?
That is such a beautiful question, Celine. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. Shout out to Marquita, shout out Desmond. Um, I would say that you are so welcome to apply. It really is about passion. It's about what you're hoping for. So if you have a vision, if you have a an idea for how you might want to impact youth in your community, definitely apply. I think one of the things that we are looking for too, though, is just already having some in-kind resources available. So what does that look like? Like Wi-Fi, an organization, you might want to do like focus groups with youth. We might not be able to connect you directly on the ground, but I am hearing that there might be opportunity like with to connect you with Marquita even. So I would say apply and like even if it doesn't happen this year, I would be like reaching out and being like, yo, here's Marquita's contact. Marquita, like they're still doing amazing work. There is a way to get into the door, right? So I would encourage you to apply, Celine. I'm also seeing other questions in the chat. Denisha, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name correctly, asked if there was an age range for the program. It's just 18 and over. We are just looking for 18 and over, no cutoff to that age. And we do intentionally try to make it intergenerational. And yes, the application is yearly. We had some funding stuff come up, to be honest, the year before 2025. So I think 2024, we didn't have a cohort, but that is okay. We secured some funding, shout out to our funders, and are able to move forward yearly now. Um, I have a few questions. Sorry, I'm looking at the chat right now. Um, Ken Juan or Ken John, I apologize if I'm messing up your name. And I appreciate the grace with that. I did have a few questions. Was selection based on location? Like, is having representation over the nation a factor? Also, do you have any pictures or videos of events? Oh, yeah. So, um, yeah, there's like three questions up in here. So, one, the selection is based on like cross regional. So we want to make sure to get as much representation as possible from different regions. So we had West Coast, we had East Coast, we have Southern, we have Midwest, all regional. I'm definitely wanting folks across regions to be able to talk to each other. That is a factor in selection. And uh, do you have any pictures or videos of events? Pictures and videos of events definitely on our social media. You can find our us on Instagram at nyjn.org. No, We are NYJN is our Instagram, so I'll put that in the chat. We are NYJN. I also have a lookbook from past cohorts that this cohort isn't included in. Sorry, y'all. But that is one place you can look, and that is on our website. I will drop the link right here in the chat right now. And yeah, I think some of the an example of a retreat that we usually do is in Washington, or we've done in the past is in Washington, D.C. We went to the Smithsonian Museum of African American History. We went to La Cosecha, which is a Latino like owned and thriving community center that has all Latino businesses. We had the Restore Arlington group, the Heart of Safety group, come and give us a presentation to demonstrate what it was like to create community-centered models of care. Um, we went to Busboys and Poets, and that's one of the places where Terrence performed. So those are an example of like we're investing directly into um, uh, racially marginalized, owned, and operated businesses, as well as calling in advocates who are doing this work in a healing centered, values aligned way. And a hypothetical price of the tuition is $125 to $330 for the fellowship. So it just depends on your income range. Do y'all have the retreat location for this year? Not quite, Jeremy. I hear you. I'm not. I have it. I'm not allowed to reveal it yet. So secrets to come. But I will say it's gonna be different from the last year's retreat location. So we're switching it up. Is there an interview process or is there a selection process? Can people submit links to work that they are already doing? So there is an interview and selection process. You submit the application form. And Darian, I see your hand raised. I'm just answering this question in the chat. There's an application form. I dropped the link in the chat earlier. And then we go through all the applications and then invite folks into a 30-minute interview. And the 15 last 15, we invite 15 folks to interview and then select 10 from those folks. Um, and yes, you can submit links to work that you are already doing in the application. Yes, Darian, please unmute yourself. Also, let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Yes, you are. It's Darian. And a lot of people think I'm a guy if they don't see me or know my voice, but I'm a girl. Um, Thank you for holding this space for us. This has been wonderful. And thank you, Lupita and Terrence, for sharing. I had a quick question. I saw on one page that the first retreat was June 1st through 5th. And then I saw on a different page that it was June 4th through 8th. So I don't know if you guys just like gave a range of the whole first week, but I didn't know. Like you said, you can't reveal the location, so maybe you can't reveal the dates. But could you clarify that for me?
Thank you for that. I don't know what happened there, but I don't design the website. No, I will. I'm gonna go ahead and look at where that's at. But the dates for the first in-person retreat are the June 4th through the 8th.
Okay, so it's that weekend. Okay, thank you so much. I
Is
appreciate it.
that a weekend? One second.
Yeah, it starts on a Thursday through Monday.
Oh, okay, that is incorrect. Sorry.
No, first through fifth.
It's the 1st through the 5th. I don't
Okay.
know why it's showing up that way, but I will definitely correct it. It's the 1st through the 5th.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for pointing that out.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And then Denisha, I see you're asking how long the program is. This year the program is going to be from June to December. It's going to be shorter this year. We're trying out different models just because we've heard feedback that it's a little bit like time consuming and intensive in ways that are really beautiful, but also kind of hard to maintain. And so accessibility is really a value that we have and hold. And so again, the first in person is going to be June 1st through the 5th, and the second retreat and graduation may not be in person this year. We're still working that out transparently, but those dates are from November 30th to December 4th. Beautiful. And I appreciate both you, Terrence and Lupita, for being here so much. 3 of y'all socials, like stay connected. Yeah, Lupita and Terrence, folks are asking for your socials. If you want to share them in the chat or say them out loud. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say mine because I'm on my phone and I can't type at the same time. So mine is
Terrence,
caution.
I can put yours.
Thank you,
Family
Lupita.
is your besties. Or not besties, extended family.
Extended besties families.
um, sorry, y'all. Let's see. I'm also gonna put my email. Caution 365, right, Terrence?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
And then thank you so much for sharing your email too, Lupita. And then I put in NYJN's social, which is we are NYJN, and then for me it's Remedios con Amore. Okay, I'm trying to be respectful of everyone's time. We're at the hour. I hope you all drink some water, take good care, take a deep breath, have a nice snack. I don't know, whatever feels comforting to you. Please take good care of yourselves and thank you for being here. Feel free to reach out with any questions. I encourage all of you to apply and so much love, especially to Terrence and Lupita. Oh, so good to see you.
Thank you, everyone. If you do follow me on IG or anything, shoot me a direct message too, so I can connect who you are and this is how we met.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Ashe, talk to y'all soon. Ciao.
Thank you. Thank you.